For the first time in a very long time, I'm actually excited to watch the NBA playoffs, and that is because of the first round. We got heavyweight matchups, and we also have some up-and-coming teams who can make a run this year. Stay tuned until the end of the video because we will also be doing our NBA Finals prediction. But let's get right into it with the Eastern Conference. I can't wait. And let's start off with the first matchup.
I want to start off with the Bucks-Pacers, the 4-5 matchup. The Pacers ended up finishing the 4th seed after a slow start, and the Milwaukee Bucks, led by Giannis, who was overlooked for an MVP consideration because the team kind of struggled throughout the year. You're in-season champs, in-season tournament champs, the Emirates NBA Cup champs. And this is a hard one for me to predict, but let's go into each team's matchup, and I'll start off with the Bucks. The biggest news right now is that Damian Lillard is still out with the blood clots and is on the right trajectory to maybe they're hopeful that he'll come back into this in the playoffs. I don't know if Shams means this round specifically or if they progress further that way. Obviously, blood clots are no joke. We know it ended Chris Bosh's career. We saw what happened with Asar Thompson. We saw what happened with Brock Besser if you're a hockey fan, and so on and so forth. So obviously, not a lot to mess around with there. So Giannis, I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to pose this question off the bat to you. Can Giannis go LeBron mode and carry this team in these playoffs? For now, let's go short term this round, first round.
Yeah, Giannis, at the end, they missed the playoff series between these two last year, which is obviously a massive factor of what the Pacers winning. So this year, having Giannis and not having Dame, I feel like is a different story just because, like you said, I feel like Giannis does have the carry factor to him. He is top 3 in MVP. He's not going to win it, obviously, but he's just year in and year out doing Giannis things. Come playoff time, yes, it's a little bit, it becomes a little bit more difficult for him to carry because he's going to have to put up like 30-point performances, potentially 30-point. He's going to have to average a triple-double probably in this series.
Which he kind of, he wasn't averaging triple-double, but ever since Dame was out, the guy was putting up crazy numbers and was very good on the defensive side of the ball as well.
So what I'm trying to say is that Giannis can do it. The only issue with Giannis, we haven't seen it too much, is because I feel like it's very simple. Though there's a simple game plan to defend Giannis. It's not simple to defend Giannis, but there's a simple method to slow him down. And if the Pacers use that, they should be able to slow him down.
So with the Bucks, the issue is who is going to be that secondary scorer because you do not have Damian Lillard. You bring in a guy like Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is having a down year compared to what he did with Washington last year. And when his more successful days with the Lakers, he was like a 3rd/4th option. Depending on who you give the 3rd option to on that given night. He has to be relied upon heavily. Brook Lopez is not the same Brook Lopez anymore either, right? So the key is Brook Lopez is like type of guy to get you a game though. That's the one thing for a fact. Like Brook Lopez, he could shoot the thing. He could obviously, he's a really good defender, but he's up there in age as well. So the concern for this team ultimately comes down to, we already know their defense kind of was up and down this whole year. And then we know what their coaching stuff is like when it comes with Doc Rivers, led by Darvin Ham along with the assistant coach as well, but mainly Doc Rivers in this case. We've seen what his playoff thing is like. So for me, the biggest concern for this team to get ahead of the Pacers is going to be the secondary scoring.
Yeah, and you said it yourself, defense, secondary scoring, depth is my personal biggest issue for the Milwaukee Bucks along with Doc Rivers. I'm going to transition over to the Pacers. The Pacers have declined from last year. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton wasn't the same Tyrese Halliburton, especially in the beginning, but he has played much better than he has started off in this.
There's all NBA consideration with him.
Yeah, so like he has gone way better. But I'm talking about as a team, it didn't feel like the same Pacers team as last year. Main reason is because of the shock factor as well, because they just came out and started like
very slow start,
playing good. But yeah, very slow start. They're playing good. Here's the big thing. Tyrese Halliburton is going to need to have a better playoffs. That is true because he did not have a great playoffs last year. Pascal Siakam, do what he did last year. In this series, he was the main guy against Milwaukee last year. I know Giannis wasn't there. He was probably primary defender, potentially. So it's going to be tough, more difficult for him to get points. So that's where Tyrese Halliburton has to step it up. Depth-wise, Pacers have the depth, right? Obi Toppin can give you a game. He had this game-winning three-pointers this season. Miles Turner can give you a game. Tyrese Halliburton can give you a game.
Andrew
Pascal Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, all these guys, they have the depth. They have their identity, which is the pace and space. And overall, this team looks good right now. And overall, depth-wise, look better than the Milwaukee Bucks.
Before we get into our prediction, I want to go back to the Bucks quickly. If they do lose in this first round, this is another built-up excuse for Doc Rivers' resume because Dame was out. Do you expect major changes, though? By major changes, I mean it could be a coach firing. It could be Giannis requesting. It could even be Dame getting dropped.
Coach, for me, in my opinion, coach should have been fired, but we'll save that to what happens.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, you already know my stance. Doc Rivers should have been long gone, so I don't know how he's still here. But let's go into prediction time. It's a tough prediction. I'll go off and start it off with the Indiana Pacers are winning this in 7 games because Giannis has a lot of pressure and it's going to be too much for him to overcome, especially this team who is offensively gifted throughout the roster, not just one player, like how the Milwaukee Bucks have Giannis.
It's tough for me because part of me wants to give the Giannis love, but I have two predictions for this. My main prediction is Pacers in 6. I think it's kind of giving me the 2015 NBA Finals. LeBron James carrying that team when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love ended up getting hurt. He got him 2 games. Giannis is good enough to get you at least 2 games. I switch it to Bucks in 7 if Dame somehow comes back. That's my caveat there. But if I'm going with the current like status quo, my prediction will be Pacers in 6 due to Giannis not having much help.
Pistons, Knicks, the 3-6 matchup, the 3rd seeded New York Knicks hosting the Detroit Pistons. I'm going to start off with the Detroit Pistons. And my first question, and hopefully he does pull it off, can Cade continue his dominance that he has shown from the regular season into the postseason? He is by far the Pistons' best player overall. He is their leading scorer who had around 27 points per game. So it's going to be very important for this Detroit Pistons team to have a guy to go get him a bucket, and that guy is Cade Cunningham, and his first playoff taste. Can he be that guy? It's going to be tough because playoffs are different and we don't know, but I believe that Cade is that guy and he will do it. And if they have a bucket getter like Cade, this team defensively is very, very good. Very good. And they could slow down anyone.
So, yeah, to answer your question, it may take him a slow start. It took Paolo 1 or 2 games before he got used to it last year with the Orlando Magic. Cade finally has shown why he's the number 1 overall pick, right? And if we were to do a redraft, he would be the number 1 overall pick once again, in my opinion at least. So yeah, it might take him 1 or 2 games. For me, my concern with them is who is gonna be their supporting cast coming up. Tobias Harris needs to show up. He's the main guy, right? Like his regular season was all right. Like he showed off decent. He only finished off with 13 points per game. Those are the counting stats. I get that. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't tune into every single Pistons game like how a Pistons fan would. Malik Beasley hit the most 3-pointers. He was off the bench. Can he continue that during the playoffs? Right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. But the overall concerning thing with the Pistons is, like you said, it's the inexperience. However, you got a really good coach and JB Bickerstaff who turned it around.
And you have a guy in Cade.
And yeah,
you have a guy
in Cade, so it's gonna take time.
But there's one thing I want to bring up with the Pistons.
Yeah.
Their second leading scorer was Jaden Ivey at 17.
He's out.
He is unfortunately out, so obviously someone else is gonna have to step up. But the good news for the Pistons, they're a top 10 defense.
They're grit.
They're gonna be hard nosed against this New York Knicks team. And this New York Knicks team, at the end of the day, no matter who they trade for, is gonna be led by Jalen Brunson. And in my opinion, it's still an issue because if you deny Jalen Brunson the basketball, I don't think this Knicks team can operate very well. They were fortunate last year that they won the first 2 games against Philadelphia with Brunson being not shooting well, but him being on the court in general and him actually being able to facilitate is kind of still helped the Knicks win that. So the game plan for me for the Pistons defensively is just get the ball out of this dude's hands, and I think the Knicks offense will suffer.
Or Sar Thompson being the one main guy there as well. But the other thing the Pistons will, on the flip side, the Pistons will struggle with, though, is the defense of the New York Knicks as well. It's a good defensive matchup, for sure. You're 100% right on that. OG Anunoby. Mikal Bridges. Josh Hart. They're their starters. They're going to play like 40-plus minutes, right?
41-plus.
Yeah. Especially Chua off the bench will give you tough minutes as well. So to your point about who the secondary ball handler on that starting lineup, yeah, there isn't anyone. The only guy you could really think of is Deuce McBride. He's your 6th man. He has to be your guy when the non-Jalen Brunson minutes. One thing with this one is I do trust Jalen Brunson more than I would Cade Cunningham at the moment. Obvious reason is because Jalen Brunson has been in the playoffs and he has been there, done that in terms of performance-wise, right? Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, the long-term future will probably surpass Jalen Brunson. That's a different story for a different conversation for a different day. But to your point, though, with the New York Knicks, that's defense number one. Number two, Karl Anthony Towns. Do not get in foul trouble. You need to be on the court to help a guy like Jalen Brunson. So if he does pass you the ball, and Karl Anthony Towns showed why he's a top 3 center in this league.
He had a great,
top 3, top 4 center in this league for sure.
He actually had a great playoffs last year. He had a solid season.
Really good year this
as
year.
well. So he's got to continue his game, and if he does, it will be the reasons why, and this will be the reason why I picked the New York Knicks winning in 6 games.
The main concern I have for the Knicks before I give my prediction is hopefully they don't break down.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the main thing, and for that reason, I agree with you. I feel like it will be the Cade coming out show. However, it will only be 2 games, so the Knicks in 6 for me as well.
Defensive showdown. 2 top 5 defenses are going against each other, which is the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. And I'm going to start off by saying this. Which offense will prevail? A one led by Jason Tatum or a one led by Paolo Banchero?
So, I'm going to cut you off for a second. Just a little disclaimer to everybody. We are recording this after the 7-8 matchup of the play-in has been done. So after this, we don't know what the 8th seed is. We'll give our predictions for that. For in this case, it is determined that it is the Orlando Magic with a big win over the Atlanta Hawks to claim the 8th seed. Continue. Or 7th seed, sorry. Continue.
Obviously, the Celtics is obviously more chances of obviously winning the series in terms of their offense prevailing. But 2 top 5 defenses going at each other is going to be, it's going to be tough for both teams to score. Obviously, with the Celtics, having Jason Tatum, hopefully getting a Jaylen Brown back. They should get Jaylen Brown back. Drew Holiday can pitch in offensively. Porzingis. You have Peyton Pritchard off the bench. So obviously the answer is and should be the Boston Celtics. But this Magic defense is nuts. Like, it's absolutely insane.
So from the tier list days, the video we made, the contender-pretender one, you had these guys as a threat. I completely disagree with you. I'm going to keep it simple and short. Magic fans, pray. Simple. Just pray. Nothing else I could say to you. You have the aggressive defense. You have one of the worst offenses in the league. You have the worst offense out of all the playoff teams. You're dead last or close to the bottom in 3-point shooting. KCP did not help you. You're lucky you have Paolo Banchero who help you offensively. You will have Franz Wagner. It worked against the Atlanta Hawks. It ain't going to work against the Boston Celtics. You have the best perimeter defender, guard-wise at least in my opinion, in Drew Holiday. Jason Tatum is a really good defender himself. He will give Paolo Banchero tough times. Paolo Banchero is such a good player. He'll get you the points when he needs to. If Jaylen Brown is healthy, he will do it. The only way the Celtics will lose a game, not the series, just a game, is if they can't hit their threes. That's it.
Hey, man.
And health.
I'm sticking with my mid-season thing, right? And I'm not obviously going fully overboard, but I do think the Magic will make this series tough for the Boston Celtics because their defense is goddamn good. Do you see what they did last year against? I know the Cavs are a different team, don't get me wrong, but last year they made it double-digit games, right? This team is the second best defensive team. The issue with them is can they score, but they will make sure and they will try. They will die trying to make sure that the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Celtics will not score as often and as efficient. And for that reason, it's a slight bold take. The Celtics are still winning, but I have it going 7. I have faith in the Orlando Magic. And
I have zero faith in you, Magic fans. Or the Magic team. I am sorry. Celtics in 4. You're down the stretch. It was atrocious. Your beginning of the year gave me hope. His take right now would have been mine if it was the beginning of the year. Atrocious ending to the season for them,
hey, man,
in my opinion.
Here's my...
Celtics, any other team? Okay, 7, fair. Celtics and 4.
Here's my reasoning. The Magic will pull off at least 2 dubs with like a 90-88 dubs. I think the Magic will pull off 2 of those dubs, for sure, in my opinion.
That's fair. Like, I guess
hey, man,
they're on obviously opposite ends of the spectrum here. Celtics and 4 is the best.
I'm not backing down. I said what I said. The Orlando Magic to me can be a threat, and obviously being the 7th seed is hard to be a threat, but that doesn't mean you can extend the series and not get absolutely demolished. And I don't think he doesn't get absolutely demolished, in my opinion. But let's talk about a team who will get absolutely demolished because the winner of the 8-9 matchup in the play-in will face the Cavaliers, and I have it written down in the stars. The Cleveland Cavaliers will win in 5. The only reason I say in 5 because the Bulls / the Hawks / the Heat have at least one guy who could really pop off, being Tyler Hero, Kobe White / Josh Giddey, and obviously Trae Young.
Okay, so the main thing is who is your prediction for the 8th seed?
I actually have the Atlanta Hawks getting it done. So, in my opinion, I guess Trae Young can help them steal a game. But overall, the Cavs, top to bottom, should be able to handle whoever they're playing, in my opinion, as the 1 seed.
It was between the Hawks and the Heat for me. Sorry, Bulls fans. Even though you guys were the hotter team to end the year. I will agree with you, and I'm going to lean to the Hawks to take that 8th seed. And I'm saying Cavs in 5. If it's any of the other 2 teams, Cavs in 4. I'm calling 2 sweeps if it's not the Hawks.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially.
So, before we move on to the Western Conference, we would appreciate if you guys smash the subscribe button. And if you're enjoying this video, we'll appreciate if you smash the like button. We make these type of videos multiple times a week regarding the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL. The NHL playoffs are starting at the same time, so expect an NHL playoff prediction coming very soon as well. So, please smash the subscribe button and join the club. But we're going to move on to the goddamn West. The Western Conference. And thank God we don't have to predict the standings anymore. But these playoff predictions are still going to be almost as difficult. And let's start off with the 3-6, your squad, LA Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves.
All right, yeah, this was a lot harder. I'll say that much. The East was a lot easier because I had 2 sweeps pretty much essentially set up there. I guess I'll start off with my squad, the LA Lakers. They take on the Minnesota Timberwolves after the Warriors lost the final game of the year, where they ended up falling into the play, and the T-Wolves take that spot. And with the Lakers, I have a couple of keys here. Number 1, do not be complacent at all at any point at the game, offensively and defensively. The hustle defense has to go out all game, and the offense cannot get stagnant at any point as well. Number 2, you have Luka Doncic, you have LeBron James, and you have Austin Reeves. You're gonna get open shots with those guys on the court. Hit the shot, whether that be Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Dorian Finney-Smith, whoever it is, right? The next one, rebound the ball, because you'll be going against Rudy Gobert, you'll be going against Naz Reid, you'll be going against Julius Randle. You cannot lose the board battle, especially on giving them second chance points, because they will punish you because they have the depth, and need consistent big man play from, it's most likely going to be Jackson Hayes, because Alex Len probably ain't going to get minutes. Those are your only 2 center rotation. The last thing for me is Luka Doncic as a whole. Offensively, if Gobert's on the court, you've already cooked them last year. We saw the buzzer or game winner. You had them in the conference finals. But the defensive side is where I'm looking at, because you are going to get, like how we're going to be picking on Gobert on the pick and roll, you're going to get picked on defensively. And that's where the Boston Celtics exposed you. That's why Nico Harrison wanted to trade you. You need to prove him that, hey, you made a huge mistake and Dallas fans should hate you, essentially. Even more.
Good news is Luka lost like 50 pounds, which is very good news. And he looks much skinnier than he did in obviously the Dallas days. Here's one last thing I'm going to add to that. Obviously, there's a little bit more specific point defensively. How do you slow down Anthony Edwards? That's the main thing. Because at the end of the day, that is the Timberwolves' main offense. Reason why I'm saying that is Julius Randle wasn't great this season. All right.
He was also Timberwolves, too.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he is supposed to be the second scorer, which obviously leads to the question, can he be the second scorer? The good news is the Lakers are not the best team defensively. And he has an opportunity to be, that secondary scorer, obviously potentially be the main scorer of a night if Anthony Edwards does have an off night. So overall, kind of similar to the Knicks, offensively, if you slow down Edwards, you should handily win whatever game you slow him down in. The only issue is you're not going to slow him down a lot, is because it is Anthony Edwards. And number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves defensively, still insane.
Still a really good team.
You have Mike Conley, you have Anthony Edwards, you have McDaniels,
Rudy Gobert protecting the rim.
You have Rudy Gobert protecting the rim. So defensively, these guys are still solid. And they can and do have the matchup to slow down the LA Lakers. But with that being said, I'm going to do my best Shannon Sharp impression. Ant-Man, Iron Man, Spider-Man, doesn't matter. Lakers in 5. Reason why? Last year, Luka and Kyrie cooked them. This year, this Lakers offense is better than that Dallas Mavericks offense, in my opinion, especially when you have Austin Reeves playing the way he is. You have LeBron and you have Luka. Enough said. Lakers should win. Lakers in 5.
So I'm going to give my points on the T-Wolves very quickly. I'm looking at a guy like Julius Randle here. You mentioned that he needs to step up. He's on a contract. He needs a contract. So he, in the past with the Knicks, did not play totally well in the playoffs, right? Before they even got Brunson, after they got Brunson, right? So he needs to be the second scorer, and they need a consistent third scorer, whether that be off the bench and Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, whether that be a guy like Jaden Daniels, whether that be a guy like Mike Conley. Naz Reid is the big one I'm looking at. Chris Finch, in terms of coaching matchups, Chris Finch will bench you. He benched Anthony Edwards during a game where they came back on I forget which team it was.
It was under.
Yeah, that game. Yeah, that game, right? So Anthony Edwards, I thought he was injured. So Chris Finch is a no-nonsense head coach, which is what I respect a lot, right? And Edwards, like you said, cannot have a bad game. But that being said, too many weapons on the Lakers side. I am not going out. I'm a little bit more humble than I am going Lakers in 6. I'll say, hey man, go with that much. Anthony Edwards is
I'm gonna say this much, right? I'm still expecting Lakers in 5, but last year the Dallas Mavericks and Timberwolves had some close games.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're gonna blow them out every game. Like it could still be like a tighter games, but the Lakers pull through. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I had to do a Shannon Sharp impression because it felt good in this situation. But let's move on from one insane matchup to another one.
The hardest prediction I have to make.
The Denver Nuggets are hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. And the biggest question for the Denver Nuggets is who the hell is going to help Nikola Jokic, because Jamal Murray is hurt.
He came back, I think, the last
But
two
he's
games.
hurt.
He's not like healthy is the best way to put it.
Yeah, so hurt. He's not injured, but he's hurt.
Well, my first key point is you have Jokic.
Yeah, like that's not even bringing it up. You have Jokic, so
Second key point is what you said. The non-Jokic, not like obviously you help, but me specifically, what you described during the MVP video we dropped, the non-Jokic minutes is going to be the biggest thing here. They don't have the depth, in my opinion. Really, Christian Braun stepped up a lot. Michael Porter Jr. is a streaky guy sometimes. Aaron Gordon is not supposed to be a go-ahead scorer. He's supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be the defensive guy. Defensively, you're not a great team. You fired your head coach. So far, it's good. Looks good. You won the last 3 games of the year to officially clinch the 4th seed. Otherwise, you would have been in a play-in spot. The main concern, the absolute main concern is 2 things. One is the defense for me. The number 2 thing is they need consistent secondary scoring. That's like what you labeled.
I only have one solution to the non-Jokic minutes. Don't take him off. don't have non-Jokic minutes, right? If you're that bad without him, I'm sorry, Joker, but you're gonna be dead after every single game. And obviously, it's playoff time. You're gonna have to be, but like that's the only solution because this team is so bad without him. It's like absolutely like they're unrecognizable when Jokic is off the court. That's how much of a difference he is. But flip over to the other side, how the hell are the Clippers gonna slow down Jokic? I know they have Zubac, but it's gonna take more than just Zubac, in my opinion.
That's fair. The good news is the Nuggets don't have anyone else that's super concerning unless it's a healthy Jamal Murray, right? Clippers side of things on the defense. Okay, fine. Let's focus on the defensive side of things for the Clippers. You got Ty Lue. You got the coaching matchup win. The guy's a master at in-game adjustments.
You have quite.
Zubac. No, I'm saying I'm gonna get to that point in a second. Zubac is having a career year. This guy is in conversation for an all. If there was the original all NBA stuff, he could arguably have been the third team center. Yeah. Right. Like obviously Embiid was not going to be in it. It would have been Cat, Jokic locked down for sure, and it would have been up for grabs with that spot. That being said, though, like you said, you have Kawhi Leonard, right? You went out and got Ben Simmons for this reason. Yes, no one is gonna stop Jokic. I should know this. Anthony Davis could not even stop him, and he's arguably the best big man defender in the league right now, right? But that being on the flip side, though, the Clippers, I still trust them defensively, like the additions you made. You have Chris Dunn, who could stop the guy on the ball. He's a pest, right? He's like a full court defender. You could in all cases. Kawhi Leonard is on that game, the final game of the year wasn't nasty. He was so good. Ever since he came back from injury, insane. He's leveled up week after week, game after game. So the question is, who's gonna stop Jokic? The other side is who's gonna stop this Kawhi Leonard. You've witnessed this. 2019. This guy's motivated. People are calling him injury prone. He got Stephen A. Smith eating his words again. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm scared. He was obviously concerned, like, oh, he's just gonna get hurt. If we know that's the case. That's the reality. We get that. I'm banking on he's gonna be healthy, obviously.
Yeah. If he's 2019 Kawhi Leonard, good luck to everyone. Yeah. Genuinely good luck. Because here's the next question about the Los Angeles Clippers. If you get a good James Harden with that, if you get a regular season James Harden with 2019 or close to 2019 Kawhi Leonard, who the hell is stopping you?
Right. So
Who?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. The issue is James Harden sucks in the playoffs.
Well, he's not.
Generally.
I'll say this: he's not a great scorer consistently,
That's what he is.
but he's more of a point guard on this team.
But he's gonna have to elevate the points
But
at the end of the
so
day.
the point is, in my opinion, I'm looking at a guy like Norm Powell this year. The guy people are saying that he got snubbed for All-Star. That's how good of a year he had,
is
right?
good, yeah.
So like for me, Harden doesn't need to take on the scoring load as much as he needs to, but he completely, but he needs to step up when he needs to step up, like he did in the final game of the year. Overtime was all pretty much Harden.
Yeah, it was
And,
Harden.
like,
Yeah,
the Golden
that was a
Warriors.
great performance by Harden. But yeah, if
And those Rockets days, right? It was just James Harden mainly. You got this version of Kawhi Leonard and you got to play. And James Harden is one of the best playmakers. Not even a shooting guard. He's a point guard in this team, right? Norm Powell. I'm looking at a guy like the X Factor is Norm Powell, right? Norm Powell could score like how he did. You got and Zubac. Listen, what's Luka's best friend when it comes to the court?
the big man.
What does James Harden do very well?
Obviously, the two-man game.
Two-man game.
The two-man
Zubac
game.
has had a career year. It's not a coincidence that he's with James Harden.
Yeah, no, James Harden had a great year, all NBA type year as well for James Harden. Also, Clippers demolish him on paper in terms of having all the depth pieces as well.
And the coaching matchup.
And the coaching matchup is obviously, we don't know who Adelman is at the moment and how
Go
he's
for a
going to be.
3-game win streak and the Nuggets are revitalized for
But
sure.
at the end of the day, you're going up against Ty Lue, and therefore, I'm going with the Clippers in 6.
It was a tough one because I don't want to disrespect Jokic, but again, he had a long playoff run last year. Was it like he lost more
It's
pieces?
just too much to overcome, I think.
It's too much to overcome. Like I said, like I am going with Clippers in 7, though I respect Jokic that much. It is going to be Clippers in 7. We just got to see how this is going to be playing out.
Rockets and the play-in winners, Golden State Warriors, and the 2-7 matchup. The Houston Rockets, the up-and-comers. Surprising 2 seed in the Western Conference, out of if you're picking one. It's not the East. Again, the tough Western Conference, the Houston Rockets jump up to a 2 seed. And here is the framework for the Houston Rockets. Again, all of these young and upcoming teams are very good defensively. Magic, Pistons.
It's not a surprise that they're there, right?
And then obviously now the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets, another top 10 defense. I looked at their season matchups in terms of like the score line. And there were some games where Warriors scored 120, right? And obviously the Warriors won those games. But there were games where they kept the Warriors in double digits, less than 100. And obviously the Houston Rockets won those games.
Were these prior Jimmy Butler or post? Some of them were post Jimmy Butler.
It was mixed. Like they played I think
3 games for sure.
They played 4 times this year. Obviously 2 were in 2024.
Yeah.
And a couple were, a little bit more recent. I think 1 was with Jimmy Butler. I'm not 100% sure because I forgot to check the date. But obviously, like you said, Jimmy Butler is going to be a big factor in this. But defensively, again, you can slow down any team. And that includes the Golden State Warriors, which is really good. Offensively, I am so concerned in terms of who is going to step up to be that guy and go get you a bucket. Obviously, in my opinion, it should be Jalen Green, but again, very unknown in my opinion. Like with Cade and the Pistons, I was more confident, obviously, in
Jalen Green has been up and down so far in his career.
Alpin Sengun, yes, but it's also tough for a center to really take over a game. Fred VanVleet, hell no, because I've seen this guy disappear in the playoffs many, many times, especially when he was supposed to be the leader in the Toronto Raptors. And Dylan Brooks is not doing
Offensive things.
Dylan Brooks is not doing team kinda shit.
So here's the thing with the Rockets, right? Inexperience, we know that. Dumb Pistons. They have a lot of similarities in that
The most
sense.
experienced person is Ime Udoka.
Well, Fred VanVleet.
And Fred VanVleet, yes.
Because at the end of the day, he's still champion. He still got you the Bucks. Don't really
He did, yeah.
that much.
I know, but I'm saying as a leader, he's not going to do it.
Well, one of my key things is that he has to be the leader. Simple as that. He's the most experienced. Outside of Jeff Green, is the most experienced guy on the team. And you're right. Like, yeah, he has been inconsistent. Where the case may be. Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, really good defensively there. So they have the pieces to make it tough for the Warriors as well. For me, like you said, Jalen Green, yes, he has to be that scorer. I get that. But for me, Alperen Sengun needs to emerge. It's not fair to him that his nickname Baby Jokic, because he probably will never be Jokic. No one will ever probably be Jokic in NBA history for all we know, in our lifetimes even, with the skills that he has offensively. But he does need to step up. Simple as that. Like, DeMarcus Sabonis has stepped up before, and he's another similar mold type player, right? it's time Alperen Sengun's first playoff series. He's supposed to be the best player on this team. He needs to emerge. Is he going to do what I expect Cade to do? No, because he's not that scorer that Cade is, the scorer that Paolo Banchero is, in my opinion. But he needs to get shots open for the guys, and that's where guys like Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, all these guys need to hit their shots. And yeah, like you said, defensively they're gonna be they're a very good team. You got Dylan Brooks on that team.
It is very unfortunate when you're versing probably the most experienced team in these playoffs. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Gary Payton, Kevon Looney. I could keep going because this Warriors after Jimmy Butler was just like it was just a breath of fresh air for them. For both Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors.
This is why we said go get him if you want to save your playoffs.
And here's one last thing I'm going to say about this Warriors team, because obviously we know who they are, we know what they are now, and these guys should win the series. Playoff Jimmy is real. That is true.
We saw it in the play-in game.
Yeah, the play-in game was nuts. But when playoff Jimmy is at his best, is in the early rounds, because he tends to slow down as, his run goes deeper.
Because he's carrying the load.
But I don't expect that to happen because obviously the load is not, he doesn't have to carry that much of a load anymore. But in round one, playoff Jimmy is a superstar.
And he's going home. He's from Houston.
Yeah. And the fact that the Rockets have to worry about Curry and then not just Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. There is a difference. It's going to be way too much for them to overcome, in my opinion.
Jimmy Butler brings a skill set that helps this Warriors team unlock their offense. That is, Steph can stretch the floor as much as he wants. There's a lot more space because Jimmy Butler, what's the Warriors' weakness offensively? They cannot get to the line. And it's tough to get to the line if you're more of a jump shooting team. Jimmy Butler will get to the line.
Yeah.
All right? So that's going to help open up things. You have a really good playmaker in Draymond Green. The other key thing is Draymond better not lose his head.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the other key thing I wrote.
Don't kick someone in the balls.
They are a small. They also added Quentin Post. They promoted to a full NBA contract. This guy was hitting threes after threes in that game against the Memphis Grizzlies, right? So for me, like the key thing is yes, they're small, but the Rockets aren't that much bigger, in my opinion. Steven Adams is not going to really see the court as much. Like Alperen Sengun is their biggest guy.
Yeah.
But they're a very, very good team defensively. You added Jimmy Butler. You have in the second. You have Draymond Green, Moses Moody, right? Jonathan Kuminga's not even in the rotation.
That's crazy. That's
right?
crazy to think.
So that's the thing part. Brandon Podziemski has stepped up as the season went on further and further. So because of the inexperience, this Warriors team reminds me of the Lakers team that from 2 years ago that finished 7th and will probably did some upsets along the way. Warriors in 6 is my prediction.
I'm going Warriors in 5. I feel like it's just too much for the Houston Rockets to overcome, and we don't know who's going to carry the load offensively for these guys, because there's going to have to be, when it comes playoff time, there's going to have to be a single guy that could just drag them, and right now they're too young to figure out that. And everyone on that team is too young to figure that out. Warriors are just too dominant and they look too good right now, and I'll give them Warriors 4-1 victory.
Fair. Next up, Thunder versus the 8th seed. We'll start off with their predictions for the final play-in spot. For me, it's very easy.
It has to be. It has to be
him. The Memphis Grizzlies, if Ja Morant is playing. He did roll his ankle. He finished the game out, and he was playing well. But to me, I'm going to put it out this way. I love Anthony Davis. I don't think he'll be able to carry the load past even the Sacramento Kings or the offense they have there. However, then if you flip it to the Grizzlies side of things, who also have a new coach late into the season, I think they should be able to beat those two teams and then go against the Oklahoma City Thunder. For me, the Grizzlies' keys are this. They got to be aggressive. They obviously they can't get away from their identity now. They're the fast team. They're the reason why you brought this coach in. They came back on the Warriors, 20 points down, right? Desmond Bane had big shot after big shot.
It's going to be tough. If it is a Memphis Grizzlies, it'll be tough.
Yes.
But
there's no easy matchup. Like I said to you off camera, OKC Thunder will not have an easy matchup outside of the other two play-in teams.
Yeah, so at the end, we're assuming it is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
It'll be pretty embarrassing if it's not the Memphis Grizzlies. So we're just going to talk about it like it is a Memphis Grizzlies. And even still, with the Memphis Grizzlies, I am still going with the OKC Thunder in 5. The reason being, 1, you have SGA. 2, you have the number 1 defense in all of basketball. And number 3, you can win any way possible. Whether it be just pure defense grinded out, you could win. pure offense takeover with SGA and obviously having a secondary scoring in J-Dub and Chet Holmgren, you can win like that. You can win in blowout. You could win in an offensive shootout. You could win in a defensive showdown. They can win in any way possible, and that is very pivotal in just the playoffs in general.
That's where the addition of Alex Caruso helps them overall there as well. Yes, there's still some about a young team. For me, my concerns for them will be, can they hit their threes on a consistent basis? Can they rebound the ball on a consistent basis? Sometimes they do give up a lot of rebounds. You addressed it with Isaiah Hartenstein, but we still see that as well. The consistent second and third score with Shea is going to be key. Whether that be a microwave guy in Aaron Wiggins, whoever, Isaiah Joe, whoever else is going to come off the bench for them. Grizzlies or whoever is going to be playing this Thunder team in general need to be aggressive with them, in my opinion as well. And because they should, like in the Grizzlies case, Zach Edey's on the court, he should be able to give him second chance points as well. But I do agree with you. If Ja is healthy, he is that good. He will get you a game. OKC Thunder has been that dominant. And it will be embarrassing if they don't get out of this first round specifically as well. I am going with the Thunder in 5 as well.
So that wraps up all of our first round predictions. But very quickly, we're just going to revisit this topic. Obviously, we did in the preseason, and we're going to do it again now because some sort of finals predictions are going to be different from our preseason.
Mine is completely different.
Completely different.
My champions didn't even make the playoffs, and that was the Philadelphia 76ers beating the OKC Thunder.
So I'll let you go off and quickly just restate your preseason one and then say a new one.
My preseason one was the Philadelphia 76ers shit show. We're gonna beat the OKC Thunder in the finals. Obviously, that's not even remotely possible. So for me, I am gonna have a matchup of the Celtics taking on the OKC Thunder still. And I hate to say it, the Boston Celtics will win this in 7 games.
I had in the preseason the Thunder making the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. I have lost full faith in the Bucks.
I mean, that was the Emirates Cup final.
Yeah. I had the OKC Thunder winning, and I'm going to stick with the OKC Thunder winning, but I am changing my East winner, and that is going to be the Boston Celtics.
Okay, I thought you were going to go Cavs.
I went with the Celtics.
I was debating Cavs, though, in my head.
Even though I have the Celtics in a first round grueling matchup, obviously a lot of people would disagree with me, but that's what I believe. But I'm going to go with the OKC Thunder beating the Boston Celtics in this year's NBA Finals.
So that pretty much wraps up our predictions for the first round. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. As we mentioned, a video is popping up right now of who our MVP is. So we'll catch you guys over there, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.